Welcome to Making the Merge, everybody. We are talking about the season 47 finale. I am PD Bachman, and we have a full cast today. We have Jonathan Wright, Kristen Wright, and the new champion of Making the Merge. Everybody give it up for Chase Bridges.
Let's go!
The curse is lifted from at least one of us.
Why don't you give us a winner's speech, Chase?
I don't know if everybody out there listening knows the history of this show. I know we just started the podcast this season. But if you go back to when me and PD started this thing, PD won the first time we did it. PD won the second time we did it. And then we brought on Kristen and Jonathan, and then Kristen won that time that we did it. And then now it's time for this season. And I feel like me, a Survivor super fan, I have seen every single episode of Survivor, and I have been fighting, and I have been clawing, and I have been digging, and I've been trying. I've got dirt on my face like Sue, because I've been digging through the dirt, trying to be the Making the Merge Survivor Fantasy Champion. And finally, the trophy has come home to Chase Bridges.
Wow.
Amazing.
Just got to give it up. You know, Chase, it seemed like it was all over for him when Saul went home. He was left with one player, and then that player ran the table.
Yeah, dude. What a crazy season. And I know this episode, correct me if I'm wrong, PD, this is just about kind of the recap of the finale. And then next week we're going to do a whole season recap, right?
Yeah, next week we are going to go through pick by pick of our draft, and I'm going to write down every horrible take that we had, and there were many.
So I don't want to talk too much about the entirety of the season because we could do that next week. But I just want to say that when Saul was my number one guy, and when Saul went home, I really did think it was over, and I gave up. And then Rachel really just became one of the greatest Survivor winners of all time, in my opinion.
I agree. I was telling Kristen as we were watching it, I was like, she's got the cleanest resume I've seen in a long time. To the point where I was so unsurprised that she won. Like, and Chady, wow.
Chady.
That's y'all's couple's name. Chase, I texted you how many times it said, like, you're going to win.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
so did PD. Everyone was, and I was so scared that you guys were just gonna like jinx it for me.
Yeah, Chase was doing this BS where he's like, I don't know, guys. It might not be me. These
Sue
other
might
three
have it.
Yeah, Sue might have it. Sam might have it. Teeny might have it. Oh, I just have little old Rachel.
It wasn't like, it wasn't that clean cut though. Like as we go through this episode, like we will hear, like it wasn't super clean cut.
Yeah,
totally.
I mean, for what it seemed like a foregone conclusion, but then there was so much drama in this episode despite that.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. The first thing we got in this finale was Monologue Jeff once again, but this time was different. It wasn't like last week where he was like, this is everyone's path to win. This time he ran through all of Rachel's accolades. The gist of the speech was, man, Rachel's awesome, but there are other people here too.
It was for sure not as detailed as the previous week. Like, I mean, it really was kind of like, okay, this feels as if it is giving away who the main character this season is.
We were all thinking it.
Yeah. We were all thinking, oh, Kristen's here. I almost forgot.
Yeah.
I got so used to her not being here that her voice jump scared.
And the baby is here.
The baby's here.
She doesn't have as much to say about this.
She's the unofficial member of our podcast.
Yeah, if we could make sure the baby does not remove the pop filter from the microphone on this episode. That did happen on episode 10, and it was not
atrocious.
Fun to listen to that isolated. It was jarring.
We aim for only the highest quality standards, which is why we still don't have a theme song for this podcast. But anyway, this episode, I kind of want to go real quick. I want to break this down and say I wasn't sure how I would enjoy this episode. Mainly because I got a bone to pick with PD. Basically, Chase is like, I'm watching live. PD is like, I'm not able to watch live tonight. And I say, Kristen and I are going to try to watch live. So
I actually said I'm not gonna watch live
this is true.
earlier in the chat.
So there was some confusion as to who was watching live, to which then, we report into Chase, who is texting us about watching live, and I say, hey, we're not doing it. We're not able to make it happen. And a few hours later, we get a lovely text from PD to the group text that says, congrats, Chase.
That's all
which
it said.
Can only mean one thing. So I was nervous going in thinking, man, I've had this whole episode spoiled. Will I still have fun watching it? And I did. So it was still very enjoyable, even though PD ruined it for us.
Well, and despite knowing the outcome, I still found myself
On edge.
during the challenges.
Well, the last thing I saw in that chat, to make me not totally the villain here
this
is
what I
that
mean.
it said Jonathan was like, yeah, I'm watching. That was
Yeah.
the last thing I saw. So in my head, everyone was watching because when Jonathan
So
watches,
it's really
Kristen
Jonathan's
watches.
fault above everyone
Whoa.
else's.
I think that the moment that I texted Chase, he should have clarified in the group chat. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, so because here's the thing too is like you started the no PD chat and you said welcome, and then
Yeah.
2 minutes later you're like, we're not watching live.
Why you had to stop watching was because Lizzie couldn't sleep. Is that right?
She wouldn't
But
do
why
it.
can't you guys multitask? That's my question.
Yeah,
It's a great
Why
question.
can't you watch the TV? Like, are you guys just staring at a non-sleeping baby? Like,
Well, it's
to
kind of hard.
sleep.
I will say it's kind of difficult to put Lizzie to sleep when she looks and it's Sue on our television screen. Like there's something counteracting.
Okay,
nightmares.
that is a valid answer to that.
Yeah. In fact, Lizzie's first word the other day was dirt, and I was like, oh, okay.
I thought it would be I hate Kyle.
Oh, but anyway, guys.
All right, enough
Fine,
about
I forgive you.
yeah, enough about me spoiling the episode for Jonathan because I wasn't updated. Let's get into the challenge now. And I love this clip from Jeff.
Take it in. This is what stands between you and $1 million. 4 big smiles.
They're nervous smiles, Jeff. Yeah, they're scared smiles.
They should be.
Got a little bit of villain Jeff there. They should
That
be
was so
scared.
intense.
Yeah. Which is kind of nice. I feel like Jeff's kind of been a sweetie pie for a couple of seasons. And I don't know. Sometimes when that evil Jeff comes back through, it's almost refreshing.
It is nice, and you know what he made them do to start this challenge? He made them crawl through mud. His favorite thing to do in the world.
Yeah,
to
it's a lot
put
of
up
mud
a
crawls.
net in some mud. And there are a lot of steps to this challenge, but I want to skip to the letter scramble part, where Rachel's struggling with it, and then Sam gets through. I think Sam was the last person to get to that portion,
Yeah.
and he just gets it instantly. The clue that they had was it's what you need to do.
Which, as soon as I saw it, I was thinking, unlock? I mean, it was not like I that was one of the few moments watching Survivor where I was like, yeah, I got that. I could do that. Yeah, Teenie also leapt. I don't know if y'all noticed that, but like she jumped in the air to see Rachel's puzzle
Yeah, I
answer.
saw that. Yeah.
It was almost endearing. It was like a nice little gazelle leap.
And speaking of Teenie, after you do the scramble, you get a machete and you have to chop a piece of rope,
yeah.
which was not a problem for the 3 other people, but Teenie had a
It's
hard
like an Andy
time.
level situation.
Yeah. It's true.
Well,
A
I
little
feel like
reminiscent.
Andy would have been hacking at that thing with like fire in his eyes. you
Yeah,
know?
he would have
Yeah.
also been hacking at it via his waist. He would have been thrusting.
Yeah,
that
he
knife.
would have been thrusting. it.
Yeah, we would have had another
Yeah,
TikTok
definitely.
clip. Sam hit once and got all the way through the rope, which
that was
was
crazy.
killer. I thought that was
Yeah,
unbelievable.
that's pretty epic.
And then he bolted to the puzzle, and it seemed like, you know what, maybe Sam can do this. Because going into the episode, we were all thinking, this is where the drama is. The drama is, like, does Rachel have to make fire, or does she just skate through? And then the answer is no fire. Sam gave it his all, but he could not beat the puzzle god.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, this was like a very almost ceremonial win for Rachel. Like, not only did it mean that she did not have to make fire, she guaranteed a spot in the final 3. Essentially, if you look at the people with her. Essentially, winning that challenge essentially just meant she won the whole season.
She won the show. Yeah,
but also she joins, as they kept repeating several times, she has joined a very limited amount of people. I think she's the 5th woman to win 5 challenges.
4.
Right? Is that
4 challenges?
4 challenges.
Yeah.
In a season of Survivor, which I thought was crazy. In 47 seasons, only 5 women have won 4 challenges.
I was a little shocked by that stat too. I would have thought it was significantly more.
Yeah,
but
I would too.
I mean, she was so impressive because she kind of came out of nowhere with those challenge
Yeah,
wins.
she
Second
really,
half of the season.
like rallied at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But we
it was
did
great.
know from the beginning of the season that like her and Annika were a puzzle dream team.
Yes. Yeah.
That's true. I forgot about Annika. Sorry, when they get voted out, they're dead to me. That's what I said. But
So your entire team is dead to you.
yeah, they all.
This
They're all. Yeah, everybody. That was too quick, PD. I'm still not recovered.
Yeah.
But
Everyone's chilling in the water post challenge, and Rachel does not beat around the bush. She's like, I'm taking Sue, my biggest ally, and Teenie and Sam, you two have to make fire.
yeah, I mean, she basically was like, I'm taking somebody that's been nice to me the whole time that I know I can beat. Like,
Yeah.
Well, she
Taking
didn't
a
even have
no
to add
vote.
that part on. That was just a given.
yeah.
I mean, that worked out for her, She was
I think-
able to be admirable and also still take somebody that she's
Yep.
going to beat.
Yeah, I think she can say that it was because of the loyalty all she wants. I think she just know like Sue wasn't going to beat Sam in
Yep.
fire making, and she really did not want Sam in that final 3. Because if she was against Teenie, I mean, not to jump ahead, but like it was already a cakewalk, but it would have been really a cakewalk against Sue.
Sue was around the fire the whole game, though. I feel like maybe Sue has
Well,
some
Sue-
fire experience.
She even said that she thought she could beat Sam because Sam didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah, Sam didn't practice.
That was a really funny segment.
But what did you think about Sam and Teenie in the water, though? Like when Sam was like, "You're gonna let me make fire?"
Dude,
Oh.
yes. There's a lot of times where Teenie crashes out about Sam, and I don't think it's completely justified. The
Yeah.
way that he said
Yeah,
that, I
totally.
feel was completely justified. You're going to let me make fire?
Yeah, it was.
Dude.
That was like the most arrogant vibe he had the whole season.
Yeah.
I
Was
disagree.
that sentence?
I
really?
I loved it. I was like, Teenie was the one who was in the wrong because she didn't
What?
like bring
Whoa.
it back harder to Sam.
Teenie
Yeah.
was in the wrong, PD.
Yes, Teenie was in the wrong. I'm just saying that when somebody trash talks, you should respond with more trash talk. Not
Well,
just
I
like,
feel like
F
she
you, you're
did.
arrogant.
Well, I don't know that his came across even like trash talk as much as it came across like,
Yeah.
oh really? Like that's what you
Yeah.
think? It wasn't like a playful jab. It felt very passive, but not in like a it felt arrogant.
It felt like he didn't, like, he wasn't making a joke. Like, he didn't mean to be rude. Like, he truly meant it, is how
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
being
yeah.
cocky, and I didn't see that as a bad thing.
We're going to get to, like, when we get later in the episode, I have a lot of feelings about Sam. And
Whoa.
so I might be feeling a little like, I might be jumping the gun a little bit at this part of the episode with my
I have some
but
feelings about how he handled Tribal, but
I've just got a lot of feelings in general.
well, probably feelings
I'm
of
so
victory
interested to
because
hear
you
about
just
those
destroyed us all. But
We should just have an episode of all of Chase's feelings.
That's right.
I'll be Chase's therapist for the day.
Yeah,
Oh.
she can be my therapist and then like lock me up.
yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
I'm
Put
not
him in the
well.
facility. Yeah. Yeah. Continue, PD.
So Rachel wants Teenie to win, and Rachel is actively helping Teenie learn how to make fire because Sam is struggling like to the point of tears because it turns out when he said he had never made a fire in his life, he wasn't lying, despite looking so cocky in the water. And to quote Sue, he's not good. It's pathetic. He's going to look like an idiot. I would have beaten Sam.
Do you think that his arrogance in the water was to try to get out of fire making?
I think that could have been one
Like
of,
where
one
he
of
was
his
just like, "Oh, you
strategies.
want me to make
Like
fire?"
to just plant a little bit of doubt in there about it.
I don't think
To-
so. I think that he was
PD
genuinely
disagrees
cocky.
with everything we're
Well,
saying
because
this
everything
episode.
you say is wrong.
Wow.
Dang, dude.
Wait, so since when was I agreeing with Chase and you were the one being mean to me, PD? Like, what happened?
Yeah, things
He
have
gets
switched up.
one win and you get a loss, and suddenly the tables have completely turned.
I think he was being so cocky, and he wanted this. Like, he wanted to have something because he lost the final immunity challenge, and there's no
Yep.
resume builder left in the game. So I think he definitely wanted to go into fire, and then he was being so cocky because he had not practiced yet, and he didn't know how terrible he was at it.
Yeah. Honestly, guys, I think this is a side note, but I think we should all get a flint and steel.
Yeah.
And try to make fire.
And each try to make a fire and see what happens, and just document.
That's a fun idea.
That's a fun.
We'll do that. We'll do that for you
Write that down, PD,
Yeah, I
since
will.
you know
Yeah,
how to write.
written it down.
I got it.
It's already written. I wrote it as soon as you said it the first time.
Wow.
The turning point for Sam here, though, is the letter from his dad.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
After he struggled so hard, he went into the letters from loved ones bag.
Yeah. For those listening that have not watched the episode, because apparently we have people that are doing that, when he says the turning point for him making a fire was the letter from his dad, that does not mean he burnt the letter from his dad. that means that he was encouraged by it and built a better fire. So,
Yeah. But it would have been funny if he used that for Firestarter.
he's like, "Thanks, Father." It lights it up. How long do you think? I mean, it seemed like he really tried for a long time to get a fire going by himself.
Struggling for so long that eventually Rachel went over there after helping Teeny, and Rachel came back and was like, Sam sucks. And Kristen is gone.
Kristen's gone. I guys, I don't know why, but she leaves me all the time on this podcast.
If I was married to you, I'd leave you all the time too.
Dude, there he
surprised
is.
she comes back,
Chase, I was getting kind of concerned. I was like, Chase hasn't been mean to me this episode. Like, is he
Yeah.
okay? Like, do I need to check on him?
I don't know how to say this without sounding soft, but this episode means so much to me. I'm trying to keep it on the rails.
Dude, so the rest of them meant nothing to you, is what you're
No,
saying.
dude, this is my first ever win, dude. This is.
I'm happy for you. I don't want to sound soft, but I cried when you won. No,
And to be, I should save this for the end, but to be the champion of the first season that we did with the podcast too. To our
It's
listeners,
big.
I'm gonna be in their minds, I'm the first making the merge champion, really.
yeah, you were also the first making the merge meltdown on TikTok.
Right.
You were pretty upset about Saul going home, and
Yeah.
you've had a lot of firsts for us, Chase.
Hey, I'm nothing if I'm not a showman,
Yeah, a showman, a trailblazer, some would
champion, a
say.
champion.
I don't.
Anyway, let's keep going with this episode. Enough about me.
Enough Chase glazing over here.
So we talked about Sam's turning point. He read the letter and he's like, you know what? I can't give up. Like, I got to give it my all. Can't have any doubt creep in. So we go from there to the tribal council area for the fire making challenge. But before the fire making challenge, Jeff is asking some questions, and he asked Teeny if this was an opportunity, being forced into fire making. And I was like, that is the dumbest question Jeff has ever asked.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, is your only path to stay in the game an opportunity? Yeah, I think it is, Jeff.
Really funny.
Teeny did open up about their one-sided rivalry with Sam, and I want to play that clip here.
I've had a bit of a one-sided rivalry with Sam, and to open up about it honestly is that I look at Sam and I see a handsome, smart, athletic, strong guy. And Sam's somebody who probably when he was younger got a lot of attention from girls. The teachers wanted him to be the kid who was moving the desks around the classroom. And that's kind of the thing that I always wanted to be doing.
Man.
How many
Sam.
desks did y'all move, by the way, growing up? Were y'all desk movers in the classroom?
So she lost me at that one.
Yeah.
because I was like,
I laughed out loud.
I remember the teacher being like, I need some strong boys to help me move these desks. And I remember being like, God, I hope she doesn't pick me.
Yeah,
I don't want to do manual labor for this woman in her 40s. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you're like, I know she doesn't have the money to pay me for it. Goodness, you know?
This is great. I understood her sentiment, which was like, oh, great, another like, kind of athletic, good-looking white guy succeeding in life.
Yeah.
And she's like, when is it going to be my turn to succeed? And I totally understood that sentiment. I think that she picked the wrong white guy.
Well, and he's also not, like, from what I've gathered, he's not really a jock either.
Right. He's in shape.
Yeah.
But, like, he's, like, kind of a nerd. He's, like, a loser a lot. Like, most of the season, I was like,
Whoa.
God,
Whoa. Why
was that too harsh?
No,
we can,
look,
we can clown Sue all we want, but the second I call Sam a bit of a loser, it's a big
Well, it was
problem.
just, I feel like we jumped so many levels where you're like, he's not really a jock. In fact, I would say he's awful and a loser. It was just
I didn't say awful. I said like kind of nerdy and just kind of like a bit of a loser. Like he strikes me as the kind of guy that got bullied a lot growing up, and now he's in his 30s. Yeah,
and he's still getting bullied on the Making the Merge podcast.
Well,
so
he deserves it. Like I get like later in this episode, he upsets me to the point where I do want to bully him.
Man, I can't wait to hear this.
That's interesting because I feel like everybody else is like, go Sam. But yeah, we'll get to that part.
Whoa.
But, okay, so next up, we have the most intense thing of the entire season. It was incredible. This fire-making challenge was insane. So Chase, lead us through this portion of the show.
So for the fire-making challenge, I would hope everyone listening has watched Survivor and knows the show. But if you don't, the way that Survivor works, when you get the final four, they have to earn their way to the final three. There's not a big challenge. There's two people that get selected by the winner of the immunity challenge who have to make fire. So it's kind of like this head-to-head fire-making challenge. They're given flint and steel and a bunch of little sticks and some like straw stuff as a starter. And as we've already said, Teeny versus Sam. Now, the way that this went down, I have a lot of feelings about this fire-making challenge. I know this is just the Chase's feelings episode, but as the champion, I'm going to get a little bit off my chest. Okay?
Well, we're going to let you because it's like you've earned an award for this, you know?
Yeah. So the fire-making starts. Almost immediately, Teeny is in the lead.
Yep.
Sam cannot get any, like a little flame in his kindling, nothing. Teeny, right off the bat, she's in the lead. She's got some fire going. She's putting the sticks on. Rachel is like giving her advice. I did think it was very funny. At one point, Teeny just looks at Rachel and goes, "What do I do?"
Yeah, oh, dude. When she looked over, it was like, "What do I do?" I said, "That's how she's played the entire season, except in fire making right now. Is hey, what do we do, guys? You know, not making the decision."
You look to Rachel and say, "What do I do?" And then it's like, then it's obvious who the winner is. But
but man, to Teeny's credit though, like you said, Chase, she just took off so fast starting the fire. It was so impressive.
Well, and that was the thing is, I thought it was so funny when she asked what to do because it was like, what you're doing is fine.
Just keep
doing it. Yeah. And that's what Rachel said, and she was like, keep going. And so she's
Put more sticks.
She's just putting more sticks. Next thing you know, Teeny has this giant fire going for a long, long time.
As Jeff likes to call an inferno. He always says,
yeah, it's an inferno. You know, Survivor's a lot like a dog.
Survivor's a lot like an inferno. It starts really hot. You're not sure where it's going to go, you know.
Well, I think that is a good metaphor for this fire-making challenge. Started off hot, and then you didn't know where it was going.
Dude,
because
brutal.
For real though.
So this is where my feelings start.
This is where like I'm so hyped up. I'm like, I was on an exercise bike watching this. I was pedaling so fast.
Them on the Peloton, workout. They're just like P.D. Bachman out of nowhere from the back. You know, they're just.
Dude, so, like, Teeny has this fire going so big and so long that it's like usually at this point of the fire-making challenge, any second that rope's gone and it's over. But for some reason, the wind is going so berserk, it's not even
touching the rope.
It's not touching the rope. And this is where there's nothing more she could do.
Yeah.
she had this giant fire, and it was staying strong, but it just wasn't burning the rope. And the next thing you know, Sam has a little fire going in his kindling. Next thing you know, he's got some sticks on it. Next thing you know, it's growing big. Next thing you know, it's as big as Teeny's. And just like that, out of nowhere, after Teeny's had this giant fire for minutes, within seconds, his rope burns. And it's over, and Sam wins the challenge.
Yeah.
And obviously, super epic moment of this episode. Probably the epic moment of this episode.
I think the moment of the season.
Yeah.
Other than, like, Operation Italy, I mean, between the fire making and Operation Italy, those are two massive moments for the season.
And then, like, Rachel playing her idol.
Rachel's idol is number one. But, I mean, it was like the fire making, I mean, ultimately it ends up being inconsequential. But in the moment, it was just the most important thing ever.
And this is where I had a big problem. It wasn't a skill issue. There was nothing more that Teeny could have done to win it.
Yeah.
It was literally just luck. And that's where I felt like fire making to decide the final three, it was made, like that rule was made because it was like, it was supposed to eliminate all luck, essentially. Like this is purely two people doing something that everyone that's cast on Survivor should know how to do, and which of you can do it better.
The real reason that it was put in there, and I heard this from Jeff this week, he said that it's because the thing that they would do is vote out the best player at 4. So here's a hurdle where like they are potentially safe, as where in every other season they would just be the conclusion to go home.
Well,
that's fair.
I have two questions for y'all about the fire making. One is more of like a hypothetical on your feelings. I'm sure you'll like that one, Chase. But the first one I have is, do you think, because I'm watching their flames, and Teeny's is like sideways.
Yeah.
And Sam's is fine. I would be really interested to know what the layout of like the walls or the items or like, were there any barricades that were blocking Sam from the wind? Yeah. And at that point you're like, man, I feel like you should always make sure that wherever the contestants are sitting is fair. Like very fair. Yeah, because it just they were right next to each other, and the wind was pretty much only hitting her flame. Yeah. And I felt really bad for her. Like I've given her a tough time this season, or like poked fun at her, but I watched that and I was like, dang, like that's kind of heartbreaking. So that brings me to my next question for y'all. In fire making, would you feel worse or better if the reason that you lost was because the wind caught your flame versus just not being able to make a fire? Which one would make you feel worse?
I'd rather have the wind knocking me out of it, because then it was like at least you could make a fire. Because when somebody can't get a flame the whole time, those are always big letdowns.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
But also, like you were saying, I felt so bad for Teeny in this moment. This is what I wrote in my notes during this part.
In his diary.
Teeny losing fire was one of the most unfair and insane moments ever. Doesn't even feel fair. I'm not sure what she could have done differently. I think I was just so upset because it was like she did everything right. She did it first, and she had the biggest fire quickly. And it's like she deserved the final 3 spot. Yeah. And there was like nothing that she could do about it. And that's what really felt unfair to me. But I guess, like, what can you do about it? Like, I just didn't feel like Sam earned that win.
I mean, he kept trying. He could have given up.
Yeah,
and the way that he positioned his fire, it looked like his was behind the rope.
It was.
And Teeny's was a little bit in front.
I didn't think about that.
Well, I think his perseverance to me doesn't negate his win, right? Like her flame getting blown over doesn't mean that he wasn't worthy of winning fire making. I mean, he kept trying, even though he could have clearly given up as soon as he saw an inferno over on Teeny's
he had
stand,
nothing when she had the inferno.
Nothing, and he just kept trying. Yeah. Like he pulled through when it counted, I guess. But I thought that when he won, he stood up and he was just psyched, like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, let's go. That's how I reacted after I saw it. It was
Yeah,
very
but-
different from how Chase reacted, apparently.
But then
I
he
felt
like
really
very
bad, yeah.
quickly shifted and went and hugged Teeny, and I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
good on you, dude. Like you
Yeah.
weren't like a complete jerk.
Yeah, no, I didn't have a problem with how he acted there. It's what he acts later in this episode where I've got a lot of hate for Sam.
So what you're telling me is we're not having Sam on the podcast.
No, we can have Sam on, but I will be bringing these things up. to him.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's for obvious reasons. It's because Sam was going up against Chase's darling Rachel, and
No, it's not even that. Let's not even talk about it until it's time,
Okay,
because I will get carried away.
Oh, I can feel it in his eyes. You're scaring us.
I have one more note on fire making, and that's that after it was over, Rachel looked at Teeny like an emperor looking down at one of their generals, and she was like, "You did well, Teeny." I thought that was awesome. I thought, this is an incredible moment. Emperor Rachel.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. Be well in your journeys as you leave. You know, it's like, or on the battlefield dying, like grabbing her hand. You know,
Yeah.
It's just
She has such a grasp on this game. Like everything once she kind of really took control of the game, everything that happens is just like so like Rachel is so obviously the winner.
yeah. That's what I mean by like we even were texting with lovely Brandon, guest of the podcast, you know, Deck the Hallmark. He said he wasn't sure how excited he was to watch the finale. He's like, because I've never been so sure that somebody is winning.
Yeah.
Whereas we all kind of still felt some excitement for it.
Yeah.
But it's just true. Like the entire episode, you're like, if she wins immunity, Rachel's winning. Like there's not a
And
problem.
then it happens 10 minutes into the episode.
Yeah,
And then,
you're just like, well, it's
Yeah.
over. Like
And it's
she's there.
then
Still a
it's-
very entertaining episode.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
say that. It's like, so we had that question. That was like the only question we had going in. The question gets answered in 10 minutes. It's that Rachel wins. And then we're like, where's the drama going to come from? And that's where I am so glad that Sam was one of the people who made it to the end, because he made what seemed inevitable a very entertaining episode. So let's keep going. We wake up. It's day 26. It's Sue's birthday. She is 46. And we've got our final three. Rachel, Sam, and Sue. And why don't we hear from Sue real quick?
This is my one last chance to give myself my birthday gift that I've been wanting to give myself. I know that Sam and Rachel are up there high-fiving. Those two feel that they're 1 and 2, and I'm just going to be the GOAT. But everyone underestimated me. I downplayed myself the whole time, and I fooled them all.
Wow. Also, speaking of underestimated, Kristen is back.
Kristen's
So,
back.
Can
Kristen's
y'all
back.
hear me from over here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, do you have
Anyway.
a mic, or are you just yelling?
No,
No, I'm just shouting from across the room.
Okay.
into my
Don't
computer.
give me a mic. It's against women.
Oh, yeah, that's been well established. Okay, speaking of being against women, we're talking about Sue. And how Sue said, I fooled them all. And she genuinely believes that she is a winner going
Yep.
into this.
Yo.
There's a level of delusion, I feel.
They had their little watermelon feast on the beach and the peace treaty time.
Which
And
Sam was not a fan of the watermelon, by the
no,
way.
he wasn't.
Yeah. What a
Wasn't a
weirdo,
fan.
dude.
I don't
Why
like
hasn't he had
watermelon.
any fruit?
I don't like watermelon. I've had enough fruit in my life to know what I like. Watermelon is
Fine.
not
But
one of
why
them.
is he literally every time they eat anything? He's like, I've never had this before. What are
Yeah.
you eating,
He's
dog?
a
He's
sports
the kind of
guy,
guy.
I mean-
He's the kind of guy that every restaurant he goes to, he gets chicken tenders.
Yeah, dude. I was about to say, he's like, do you have grilled cheese? That's what he
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
doing.
He's at Olive Garden, and they were like super salad, and he was like, do you have chicken? As
Yeah,
like
do
an
you
appetizer?
have butter noodles?
Yeah. Can I just get some water with some salt on it?
You mean salt water?
Yeah, he's like, I'll put lemon in it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. He's like, wait, is lemon a fruit? That's what he
Yeah,
says, right?
yeah. Sam's the kind of guy where his favorite fruit is lemon.
Yeah. And if he's really feeling wild, an apple, it's,
Hey, he did like pineapple. Give the man some credit.
that's because it had the word apple in it, I think. That's
That
what it
is-
was.
That is possible.
Yeah, he's like, that seems familiar enough. I like it. Oh, man. Yeah,
All right.
I'm good with shifting to tribal
Yeah.
because I feel like there wasn't much that happened between stuff. And honestly, for a reason, because they were like, let's just get to tribal. We all know who's winning, right? So-
Well, I don't know. It wasn't that clean cut. The
It
tribal
wasn't.
edit.
Well, I mean, the way we started, I thought Chase was gonna keep talking.
Yeah, I did too. What just happened?
I don't know why,
You
but I
realized
thought
what
in
you
my
were doing.
I thought in my head I was like the tribal edit, and then PD was just gonna like pick up with the.
No,
Oh.
that was.
It sounded like the beginning of a sentence.
My bad, man. I don't know.
Some might think that you were going to continue.
Yeah.
Like I thought I was like handing the baton to PD, but
Well,
I
what
think
I
I'm
thought
more-
was gonna. You see how weird that is, Chase? When you started.
Yeah, no, I knew it was weird when I got quiet and looked at you guys.
I thought you were
really
about
needed
to
that.
like go off about the edit and then realize you're jumping ahead and you just shut down. That's what I
Oh,
thought happened.
well, I mean, kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Just take it, PD.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh.
So I feel like I have to leave all this in now. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to leave it.
The power now shifts to the jury. We are at tribal council, and it starts with Sue's pitch. And Sue's pitch is, hey guys, it's my birthday. I'm not actually 45. I am 59. And then Gabe said, wow.
The lack
And-
of shock.
And Sam was like smiling, and Caroline was smiling too. And it kind of just, no follow up, no questions, nothing.
Oh,
Man.
It was like, wow.
yeah.
I really wish, man. All I could think of when she goes, she said it like this was about to be the biggest reveal of the
Oh,
season.
my word.
She
Yeah.
goes, I'm not actually 45. And I was just really wanting someone to be like, say it ain't so, Sue. Say it ain't so.
Egads! It's like just
Literally everyone was just like, oh. And then looked at Jeff to continue. Like,
Yeah, the shock value that she was hoping for, she was not presented with upon the revelation of the secret.
Gabe was the only one nice enough to be like, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like, what made her think she could pass for 45?
That's why she kept putting the dirt on her face. She was like, maybe they won't notice.
Yeah. Here's my thing: is she acted like it was this massive lie she had kept the whole season, and I'm like, when you had to lie, Susan. Susan, wow, he went full
Susan, what? Susan, where did that come from? We have not called her Susan.
What?
Oh my gosh.
when she showed up on the island and was like, "I'm Sue," that was when the lie had to happen. They were like, "How old are you?" And she says it, right? That's it. It wasn't like people the rest of the time they were on the island were like, "Yeah, and by the way, Sue, how old did you say you were?"
Yeah.
Like no one's asking again. And then she gets all the way to the end and it's just like, "Hey, I did a pretty good job keeping that secret, didn't I, people?" It's like,
You calling Sue Susan is like when we were texting about that show, The Traitors, the other day, and Boston Rob is on the show this week, and I go, Boston Robert?
yeah. Massachusetts Bob is
Not Massachusetts Robert, dog.
it's like an Indiana Jones
Massachusetts Bob.
knockoff. Yeah. Oh man, that's his explorer name. It's oh man.
Yeah, final tribal council.
I'm sweating, dog.
I
Dude.
can't move past Massachusetts Bob and Susan now. I don't know what happened. My brain broke. Whew. Okay.
All right.
I'm good.
Man.
I'm good now.
Yeah, so Chase apparently has some very strong feelings about this final tribal council.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. This is more of the Chase victory lap / therapy hour.
Okay, so
Kristen, can you be ready for this, by the way, with you and your licensure? Can you be ready to, like, diagnose him with something and put him away?
Use your psychology degree on me for this.
Yeah, please.
So, like we were talking about, like I forluded to earlier, the edit wasn't straightforward. Like I think they did a really good.
It's forluded a word?
It's alluded, just like what
foreshadowed and alluded. Is that what you kind of? This podcast is a nightmare.
I had to go through like I had to process it for a moment.
Yeah, me too.
It took me one business day to be like, is forluded? That's not even a word, right?
I was questioning myself. I was like, is this just a word I don't know?
Yeah. Well, what gave it away for me is looking at PD and seeing his eyes squint just for a moment. I was like, yeah, I think we're on the same page.
Guys, I'm really losing it, man. I don't know.
Okay, I just typed in forluded into Google. It said, did you mean preluded, forwarded, forelaid, or forward?
I think I was trying to say
what you prophesied. Man. That's what you were trying to say. Yeah.
You guys knew what I meant.
Yeah,
but we couldn't let that slide.
Yeah, it's a good word.
We're not.
I was just rolling on.
Honestly, forlude feels right. Like it feels real. You know?
Like if I'm gonna make up a word, at least that word like made sense.
Yeah.
God, dude, guys.
Yeah.
Guys, while we were laughing, I really started crying, like legitimately, like emotionally crying, like not even just.
Yeah. So I'm like, Chase, tell us your thoughts about this episode, and then So how about now you actually tell us your thoughts about what happened with Sam and Rachel's cases.
Okay.
And the back and forth. Man.
Hey, this is why we're the #2 TV and film podcast in what country?
Philippines.
The Philippines,
baby.
That's right.
Woo.
So yeah, this recap was great until they forgot how to speak English and started giggling for 10 minutes.
Okay.
I gotta breathe.
Okay, so
tribal edit.
Yeah.
The tribal edit. I think that they did a really good job of really making it look like Sam has a chance.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that drove me crazy, right? So we're at the point, the jury each gets to ask questions. They get to ask things of Sam and Rachel. Not many people asked Sue much.
Nope. In fact, I'm like, there were 2 questions, right? Is that what we counted, Kristen? 2 questions?
2 or 3. I feel like some people just ask her questions to like throw her a bone, you know?
Yeah. They were like, okay.
Sue.
It's like, I heard from Rachel and Sam. Now, Sue, would you like to answer?
Yeah.
The thing that really started to upset me was even like in Sam's confessionals right before Tribal and his reactions to some of Rachel's answers and some of his answers. It really upset me how he perceived his game to be a lot better than it actually was. He truly, it was almost pitiful how much he thought his game was such a good game, and it was really making me upset because he did not play as good of a game as he thought he did. And Rachel like called herself the underdog. She was like, I'm the underdog of the season. I was going home. Saul saved me. Then the next week, I was going home. I weaseled my way out of it. I used this advantage. I did this. Like, she truly was the underdog this season. And when she said that, Sam gave a face like, what are you talking about? You're not the underdog of the season. I am. And I was like, Sam, you started off this game at the top of your beginning tribe. You were bullying the other people in your tribe. You were so cocky that you were like, you had the numbers. Then the second that it flipped on you, you became an underdog because you were at the bottom of the numbers because they flipped on you. You were on top. You got dethroned. And then you were so like you had such a bad game at that point that people didn't mind dragging you along. Yeah, you were on the bottom of the barrel for like 3 tribals in a row, and you managed to survive, but not out of anything that you did. You didn't play any advantages. You didn't strategically survive. No, it was literally everyone was trying to get out bigger threats than Sam. So Sam thought that he played this epic game where he survived, and that was not the game he played. That was the game Rachel played. And so I was really upset.
But Chase, you're crazy.
What?
I think Sam did pull off some stuff that helped him survive. But if we're looking at what he is at right then, is $1 million.
Exactly. That's why Chase is
so
crazy.
At that point, you're like, you say whatever the heck you want, or lie however you want. Elevate your game however you want. Because at the end of the day, the game's not over. You've still got to get those votes. I almost sounded like Jeff there, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I am him.
But that's why Chase taking it so personally is crazy.
Well, no, it's not even that I take it personally. It just, it upset me. Personally.
Yeah. Earlier you called him a loser and said,
I didn't mean it like that. I didn't think he was like a popular jock.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Well, it's like, okay, this guy's last task in the game is building a case to win $1 million. How dare he embellish?
Well, no. And let me make it very clear.
What does he want the money?
I think he made a great case for himself. He was very well spoken. He made a great case for himself. I totally understand having to embellish. What made me upset is I truly think that he thought that he had played a better game than he did.
So going into Tribal, I really felt that Sam had no chance against Rachel. But listening to his argument, I was actually kind of like, oh, okay, like this is a decent argument. And if you do look at it from the outwit, outplay, outlast, like technically he did do...
He outlasted.
The outlasting. I don't know that he outplayed anybody. I do think that Sam kind of got dragged to the end. But I think once he got there, he made the best of the situation he was in, and he did have a good argument.
Yeah. And Chase is like, how dare he say anything but Rachel was the best player ever.
I didn't mean to come across like a big Sam hater. It really frustrated me that, because like there's that part of Tribal where he does this big thing like, this was this great thing I did where we pointed out Rachel as this huge threat. We wanted everyone to know that Rachel was a huge threat, and then Rachel goes, but then you didn't take out the threat.
Yeah.
And
but that's why her whole game was so airtight because of things like that. Now, where I think he went wrong and where I see like others go wrong is that kind of arrogant or faux arrogant look that he gave Teenie in the water of like, you want me to build fire? That kind of started to leak into when Rachel would be answering. He would be giving like looks and being like, doing stuff to kind of like negate what she was saying. If I'm sitting on the jury and I see someone who's played like a really clean game, and someone else is giving a really good argument, but they're constantly being like, what? No, super rude or condescending to the other player, that's not going to incline me to vote for them.
Okay, that's what I was trying to say, but you articulated it way better.
Wow.
Well, yours was emotional, which I think is good for the show.
Yeah, well. Okay, so we agree.
I do feel really bad for going so hard on Sam when I should be going so hard on how great Rachel was.
Yeah, so I don't want to come across like I think Sam was the winner either. I was just saying, of course, he was like backed into a corner and was going to say whatever, and I didn't fault him for that. But one thing that Rachel brought up, it just goes to show how much of a genius that she is when they were having her funeral, that she was actively like playing that up and making sure that they talked about how big of a threat she was so that they would make the case for her. So it's like Rachel could have just like sat there and made fart noises the whole tribal council, and she could have won. I think
some might say that would have been way more entertaining, but I mean, can you imagine?
to your point, PD dude, like Rachel, she really laid out everything that made her a winner, and it was so like she did it so simply, and I just
didn't have to try hard because her game had already been proven, and it had been proven by the other players at the previous tribal.
That's
to
crazy.
The jury. It was a solid move because she basically even brought that up though, like you're saying, PD, where she was like, they already made it. Like they already made the argument for me. So she's a killer player and deserved that win more than anybody else on the island. Now, Sam had one vote. He had one vote.
Which surprised me.
Yeah, well, I know why. It came from Kyle.
Yes.
And not only do I know why, but today I happened to cross a TikTok, and I'm going to play the audio for you, where Kyle is now on Cameo, okay? And it was somebody's birthday, and they got a cameo from Kyle. And since they were a fan, he said, I'm going to give you some extra details about why I voted for Sam. And he dropped those details in a one-person cameo, and then they posted it online. So here we go, guys. I'm going to play it for you. So
That's a story from a different time. Listen, Kyle Ren, I'm here in LA with most of the cast. We just hit the finale. I'm taking a little time to give you some love. And obviously, you've seen the finale, and I'm going to give you some insider because you deserve it for being a badass. You want to know why I voted for Sam? Because I knew everybody was voting for Rachel. That's as clean cut as I could put it for you. I didn't feel like Sam was a third vote finalist with Sue. I don't believe that they played the same game. I believe that Sam deserved a second place. And if I can single-handedly take money from one man's pocket and put it into another man's pocket,
Okay.
and have no sweat
He won
myself,
me back over.
yeah.
I'm gonna do it. Because I'm not in this just for myself, right? We're in this for family. We're in this for friends.
$1.20,
And Sam was a
baby.
friend to me.
Buck
Rachel
20,
Give it
guys.
a $1.20. He
Look.
literally gave him a $1.20 this time.
Yeah.
You gave him 15,000, probably.
Yeah.
But
he won
it
me
makes
back
sense.
over.
It makes
Yeah,
sense
yeah,
why
yeah.
he did it. He basically was like, Sue and Sam are not on the same level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam
So
shouldn't
true.
be a no vote. I'm going to vote Sam because I know Rachel's going to win.
So I didn't even think about that. So if Sam and Sue both had gotten 0 votes, they would have tied for second.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they would have had to split the second place money.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
that would mean Teeny gets the third place money.
No, I don't think
I don't
Teeny
know.
gets anything.
I don't think anybody.
I
Yeah.
think if you,
Well, no, everyone gets paid. It's a sliding scale.
I think it's
so like,
80
even if you're. Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's 85,000 if they both get no votes. But because there's that distinction now, Sam
Okay.
gets 15,000 more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
that's
I think
really
is like a
interesting.
solid thing to do just from from just being a kind guy,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
that's how he played the whole game the whole time. But to basically just say, Sam played better than Sue. He should get second place instead of tying. I'm going to hand it to him. And he did.
Yeah, he lost me at first because I was like, "What are you talking?"
You're
You
a
were like,
Sam
stop
hater.
talking nice about Sam. That's what you
Yeah.
started
Well,
saying.
no. I just meant like I
Wow.
just like you want to know why I voted for Sam because I knew everyone was voting for Rachel, and I was just like, "Come on, dude."
Well,
but then
he-
that does make sense. I didn't even think about the
Jump
money
to
part.
conclusions too
Yeah.
much, you know?
Yeah,
Do you have a pattern of doing this in your lifetime, Chase?
Get
yeah.
in his head, Kristen. Get
No,
him.
I do. It's a problem.
Yeah.
I don't mean to like foretell.
No, that's a real rude.
I don't mean to forelude. You know.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like Jonathan from last week. I feel like I've
Yeah.
really dropped the ball.
Look, this is great for me because last week I was half asleep and got off the podcast and thought, man, I don't even know who that was on that podcast.
That's how I feel right now.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
the
it's
biggest
great.
victory of my life, and I feel like a fucking moron. Dude. Sorry that you'll have to beep that, PD. But
Wow. Yeah.
I
We
might
just-
not.
yeah, dude, don't, dude.
See
don't.
how PD's feeling. He's feeling frisky this week.
Yeah.
You know. Oh man. Yeah.
No.
Chase, I'm really glad Rachel won. I think that Rachel deserved the win. And you know, you've been hustling for a win longer than I have or Kristen has. I mean, Kristen still doesn't deserve that win from last season, you know, but
Hey.
it's just you know, I'm happy that you took it this time.
Thanks, man. I will say it would have been more entertaining if Jonathan had won this season.
Oh,
Because then next season I could really have it out for him.
Well, because
Yeah,
you'd
but
have a
see-
tattoo on your body.
Oh
yeah.
God,
Ooh.
yeah. I
Yeah, that
forgot.
would.
Yeah. I mean, what a
Honestly,
scene.
I don't know how we would have topped a season like that,
Yeah.
where you
Dude,
get
yeah,
a tattoo. You know,
That
it's
would've
like-
been-
man. Apparently, that's
crazy.
like top tier for me. I don't know why that was.
I might
you got
say-
a tattoo? That's the craziest thing.
I was about to be like, hey, I could always make that same bet next season, but I think if anything, I'll save it for season 50.
Yeah, totally. Well, here's what I'm hoping for: is Banu will be back for season 50. That's what I really
That'd
want.
be crazy.
Yeah.
I have a few more things I wanted to talk about, but Pete,
Please.
did you have anything left on your list?
As far as stuff from the episode, that was it. I actually had that Kyle clip queued up, but Jonathan got to it before
No
me.
way.
Yeah.
There
Were you
go.
shocked that I did any research before an episode?
No, I was not shocked that you jumped in to play producer. Yeah.
Wow.
And clip in there.
Well, hey, I'll say I think Jonathan did a good job with that segment.
Yeah, he
Stop
did,
me-
and he got
look.
to it the moment I was gonna get to it. Also,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Well, stop treating me like a 5-year-old that y'all like put on this podcast. You're like, good job, Jonathan. You really did it. You're talking so good this week.
What I wanted to talk about next is the first look at Survivor 48 that we got.
It was pretty epic. I mean, it was the same as all the other ones, and I'm like, nothing about any of these people, but it's
Well,
just
that's
like,
what I was thinking. I was like, I don't know that I've anything stuck out.
That's not true. So some stuff stuck out to me, and that's what I want to bring up. And I will say, I do miss. There was a chunk of time of Survivor when the first looks for next season, like every season had like a theme.
Yes,
And
I
so-
missed that so
I
bad. The
missed
different
that 'cause it was like,
locations and stuff.
yeah, because it would be like next season, and it would be like we're bringing back all injured players, and it's like what?
Yeah,
That's
or
crazy.
like it's millennials versus Gen X.
or
Yeah.
stuff like that. So there's not like a theme. So it's very much just like here's some people that are going to be playing.
Yeah.
But out of the people that are going to be playing, here's some early looks that we might be wanting to draft next season.
Uh-oh.
There's a guy who's a single dad, and he's doing it for his kids.
No way.
Which made me think, like, if you're a single dad and you're on Fiji, where are your kids, dog?
Yeah, that's a good.
Here's
And
the
if it-
twist. They're with him.
And also, like, that would be crazy.
He's
And here's the
competing
thing.
against them.
If him being a single dad is such a struggle that's like his big struggle for the season of Survivor, he should not have like how are you able to leave your if you have someone to leave your kids with for a month, then I think you're doing
Yeah.
all right. Like you have help, you
Well,
know?
Yeah.
here's the other twist. He's a single dad, but it's because his wife left him and has full custody. That's
Oh,
Well, hey, question for Kristen. I mean, being a single mother, would you be able to go in Survivor?
here's the thing, guys. Kristen's not here because she had to go put our baby to sleep.
Oh, she
So
left
snuck
again?
away again. Yeah,
She is
Okay.
a single mom. dude.
right now she
Hey,
is.
I have a question. How much does that baby sleep, dude? Every time
Dude,
no matter
look.
when we're recording, you're like, dude, we're trying to get the baby to go to sleep.
Look, hey, babies sleep more than you think. That's what I will say. Is that you feel like your life is okay? I've got a 2-hour window, and then that baby needs to sleep again, and
Oh,
then
okay.
it takes over your life. It really
I feel
does.
that.
Yeah.
So you should just get up and go play Survivor. You should
yeah.
just leave.
Yeah, I should. I'll be like, Kristen's
Anyway.
got this.
there's a guy who's a single dad, and that was like a big selling point for him. Then we have Chocolate Milk Captain America. This dude was
Oh, yeah.
jacked, and he said it was all thanks to chocolate milk.
No, it's coming back to me.
Yeah, that is a
and
big
then-
deal.
And then last, so you could draft the single dad, you could draft Chocolate Milk Captain America, or our autistic queen.
Ooh.
She was like, I am on the spectrum. And I'm gonna be real, dude. She just from this preview, she might be my first pick. Because
really?
the edit that she got at the end of that trailer for next season, I was like, oh, this is someone that can talk really well, and I think they're gonna push hard in the confessionals.
You're like,
and
I
everything.
just need you to hyperfixate on this game. That's what you're gonna hope from her.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that I learned from this season, it's that don't go off the marketing, don't go off the commercials,
Yeah.
because I thought I would have been able to pick John Lovett.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, we clearly had two different opinions of Genevieve this season,
yeah,
which
we
I don't.
will get
Again, I
into
don't
all
even
that.
want to get into that. Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's, but we'll say that was one of the weaker takes of everybody on here, and I'll keep reminding you of it. So,
Hey, man.
look, we're
Anything
not
else
going to talk
from
about it,
season
Chase.
48 preview? I
No, but
noticed the bearded dude. He seemed pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
so-
that was it.
So far we have chocolate.
Jesus Christ.
Chocolate Milk Man.
Captain America.
Yeah.
Chocolate Milk Captain America, guy with a beard, single dad, the
Autistic queen.
autistic queen, and that's what you gathered from that.
Yeah,
from that.
and I was like, hey guys, this is like, hey, keep our eye out for them. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dibs
and
on bearded guy. That's what I'll say.
You just want to pick somebody who's the most like you. I
Yeah,
guess.
that's right. I like to see myself in all of my players.
And that's why you picked Genevieve.
the lawyer. Yeah, totally.
You see yourself as a Canadian female
Yeah.
lawyer.
Yeah,
on the
Canadian
inside.
female lawyer, but most importantly, not a winner of any seasons of Survivor.
Dang.
All right, so I mean, starting from the Chase victory speech all the way until the season 48 preview, we have done it. We have recapped the final episode of season 47, and what a season it was for Survivor and for our podcast.
Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean, what a twist on the podcast listenership. I know I feel appreciative of just how many people are messaging us, emailing us, listening, subscribing. It's crazy. I mean, PD, you're putting in a lot of legwork with the audio edits. Chase, you're editing a lot, and then we're all kind of like managing social stuff. But it's like, I don't think any of us. What is the word you used earlier? Chase?
Forlooted?
Yeah.
Forlooted. I don't think any of us forlooted how successful this would be for all of us. And it's just, it's so fun. It's
Me and
been
PD
great.
were talking earlier, and you could actually tell the exact moment where we're like, oh, we need to actually start trying.
Yeah. It was basically like 3 weeks in where we were
Yes.
like, oh no, there's people listening.
No, literally,
You know?
I was looking through the screenshots of like me sending numbers to you guys because I was able to because I've sent so many that I was able to see like where we popped off. The first 2 weeks of the show, we had 12 listeners.
Yeah.
We had
Which was-
12
I
listens
thought-
on each
It's
one.
crazy.
I thought it was
12
about as
wild.
much as we were going to get.
Yeah. I was like, I can't believe that more people than us are listening to this.
Yeah.
And then episode 4, the Rome clips propelled
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And TikTok's going to be missed if it gets banned, dude, because I've been having such a good time in the TikTok comment section reading what everybody
dude.
has to say about Survivor. And I just want to, because I know we're going to do an episode next week, and I think we have a few more episodes planned after that with some pretty big surprises.
Yeah.
Maybe even a contestant from this season.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything. But I do want to say we
Are you
we
gonna
have
cry? Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
We have some little things planned for next season, which I haven't even talked to Jonathan about. I've just
What?
mentioned to PD. Planned for next season that will help. Since we've gained so many people so quickly, we didn't really plan for that. But we have some stuff in the works to help connect with you guys even more for next season. If we lose TikTok, make sure you guys go over to the Instagram and the YouTube so that way you can still keep up with the clips and everything. And I love getting to talk to you guys in the comments about that. And then also... well, you know what? I'm going to save this next little bit for next week so that you guys actually listen. So I have one more thing I wanted to talk
The
about.
showman
Gatekeeping.
returns.
No, dude.
But I do want to say I'll speak for all of us when I say that there's a little inside baseball. When we talked about doing this pod and the Instagram page before the season started, I think we were all in a place where it was like we really don't have the time to put a bunch of work into something.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, let's just do an Instagram page and we can just kind of like let people
Throw
keep up with
stuff
our
up there,
draft. And PD really pushed hard to do the podcast. And he really took the flag. He does all the editing. He puts in a lot of hours. He watches every episode twice. He takes detailed notes. Like he really is the driving force behind this podcast. And so thanks to PD's hard work and to even making us do the podcast in the first place, because I was like, I don't have time to do a podcast. But I'm really, really glad I did. And I've been having a great time this season. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, PD, for making this happen. And also, Jonathan, you suck, dude. You suck so hard.
I was
man,
trying
so positive
I was
at all
ready for a thank you, but
Yeah, well, thank you for what you said about me, Chase. I appreciate all the stuff you said about me. That was very kind.
Oh man, so well, guys, some things don't change over a season. We gotta keep working on it.
I will give Jonathan a compliment.
Whoa.
Because I felt like I needed to end it on a bit and not with sincerity. But I will say, Jonathan, you've done a great job cultivating the community over on TikTok.
Look, I just what can I say? I'm really good at cultivating things that never make it to the end. That's what I'm good at. TikTok's about to be axed before it wins and is successful, just like all of my contestants that I draft. So
yeah, and one thing about Jonathan, to give Jonathan some praise, I think it was around
guys, this is my favorite part of the podcast.
Yeah, around episode 3 or 4, Jonathan called me. I think he FaceTimed me like 3 different times that day, and he was like, "All right, so I got us on YouTube, I got us on this platform, I got us on this platform."
Oh, that's true. I forgot about
Jonathan
that.
just went crazy one day and put us up everywhere.
I was like, "Wait, give me that RSS feed," and I just took it. And I thought, if we're gonna be podcasting, it's got to be everywhere. And I just had what can I say? I hyper fixated for a moment and just started copying and pasting RSS feeds. So
yeah,
that's what I love. But look, since we're all saying sweet and nice things, I'll keep this very short. I've had so much fun doing this. I can't wait to keep on doing this. I'm excited for more that we have planned. PD, thank you for the work you're putting in. And Chase, I don't know, thanks for I guess kind of doing something. What do you do? What is it?
All of those viral clips that we have?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. I'm sorry. I just blank out whenever I start watching them.
Yeah, Chase makes all those clips while he's supposed to be working.
Yeah, that's the
yeah. No, 100%.
Also, but actually, huge shout out to Chase for shouting us out on your YouTube channel on a massive video for you, because that also boosted. What can we say, guys? It's a group effort, and we're just we're very thankful for each other, and now we're gonna stop being nice.
And hopefully we can get Kristen for more than 5 minutes an episode in the future.
I agree,
because she was a pivotal part of this draft.
I'll see if I let her. That's what I keep saying. I'll see if I let her.
Can you imagine if Kristen would have won this season, and everyone listening would have been like, "What?
Who?" There was one more topic I wanted to get to about the season as a whole, and it's something that Jonathan had brought up in a previous episode that I edited out because I did not want to bring any attention to this. It's the Rome scandal.
Yes. Yes, dude. The Rome scandal. I brought this up, and then it was confirmed, right?
Yes.
He actually leaked it. Yeah. I'm so glad I didn't look.
He got one, he got 6 and 7 mixed up, but the rest were dead on as far as who went home. Let's explain what this is to anybody who hasn't heard, because we've made sure not to talk about it. I'm sure a lot of other people have as well, because spoilers suck. But Rome went on an exit interview, and he was supposed to do word association, and they're like, "Hey, so we got a list," and he's like, "You know what? I'll do my own list." And then he proceeds to list off the boot order.
Yeah.
For the last half of the season.
Crazy move. Especially for somebody who says, "Yeah, I want to co-host on the Survivor podcast with Jeff next season." You're like, that's a quick way to not get invited to do that. Yeah. To spoil the whole season, dude. It's crazy. To me, that just shows that Rome is just as rogue in real life.
Is there a way, where can I find this online? Where have you guys been seeing this?
Well, I watched the actual video. The whole interview is posted on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Dang, dude.
I watched a clip of it on TikTok, I think. But I saw it pop up and immediately saw the caption where it was Rome spoils. And I was like, no, I'm out, and just ran away.
Everyone's talking about how Rome's about to get sued by CBS.
Woo, dude.
Yeah, I think he should, because
honestly,
I also,
he had to sign something.
After that happened, I would see in comment sections being Rachel wins, Rome said it, Rome spoiled it, Rachel wins. And then I had to stop even looking at comment sections about Survivor for a little bit.
Yeah, it was I was very cautious after finding out that I didn't get it spoiled except by PD. So.
Yeah.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. What a terrible decision.
What a terrible person. Because at least he was kind of entertaining as a bad guy before, But now it's just like, oh, you're actually a piece of garbage.
Being a jerk. Yeah, like, dude, it's so annoying. But, you know, he didn't spoil our fun. We made it happen. And Chase, you're a winner.
I am. And I guess I'll be getting my trophy, and then I'm going to be working on the Letterman jacket.
Yeah.
Christmas is kind
For
of a
yourself.
busy time. Yeah, but I'm gonna make the Letterman jacket, and we'll post pictures and stuff, and we got a few more weeks of episodes, so we'll talk more about this stuff later. But yeah. Super excited.
So Chase, how did it feel? Just as our last thing for this episode, how did the moment that you realized she was the winner, how did it feel?
Dude, I was screaming on my couch. I was like, let's blank and go. Like, I was just saying that over. I was just extremely hype. I will say I was pretty confident she was going to win the past 2 episodes, but I got really nervous. Yeah, I got really nervous close to the final tribal because I was like, what if Sam wins? And then when it actually happened, I felt like this giant sense of relief, a ton of excitement, a lot of pride, because what a season to win, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, just we've talked about, it was the first ever podcast season, so we got to document every step of the way, your journey.
Yeah. And, I mean, this is the first time I had someone in the final 3, let alone win.
Besides the first time, because
when it was just the 2 of us. Yeah, but even then I only had 1, and you had the other 2.
Well, you had Heidi and Carolyn, but Carolyn was a 0 vote.
You're right. Man, that's crazy. That feels like so long ago. And then I also, when Saul got eliminated, at that point, I wasn't sure Rachel had it in her. So I really thought my season was over before we even got to the final 6. So the changing of emotions, wow, man, really got me. What a great season. I had a ton of fun doing this. I had a ton of fun watching, and I'm really glad I won.
Last note is Salt was indeed wearing another vest without another shirt under it.
Yeah, he did do it again.
So, I was like, he pulled it off. He made it happen one last time for the season, and we
Saul.
We couldn't be happier about it.
Stupid sexy Saul, baby.
Man, we need the Saul workout regimen is what needs to happen. You know, figure out what's going on.
This time it was a blue vest and a blue scarf.
Yeah, the scarf was there. That was like, he's adding some flair to it.
He's like, I'm not gonna wear a shirt, but I might get chilly.
Yeah, totally.
All right, let's end this.
Yeah, what a season. What an episode. Survivor 47, but it's not over for us. We're going to continue to be here. Maybe one of the only Survivor podcasts that's going to continue to put out episodes through the off season to keep up the hype.
We got stuff planned. All right.
Bye.
All right, making the merge out.